My name is Eva, and I participated in a constellation with James in the summer of 2024, and I wanted to share some reflections in case they're helpful if you're thinking about taking part in a constellation with James. So I hope it offers some insights. I think the first thing to say is that I was really intrigued by the format of constellations. I didn't come into the constellation thinking I'm an issue holder, so that I have like a thing that I'd like to bring to the group. I was really intrigued to take part as a participant, and I was really fascinated by the collective imagination aspect of constellations. I've heard a lot about constellations and wanted to try it out effectively, but I came with a really open mind, so I didn't really have an idea of what was going to happen, there was a real sense of just coming to it because of a sense of like curiosity and an intrigue. The second thing to say is that it's really difficult to put into words what happens during a constellation, or even the effects of it or the ripples of it are very, very difficult to put into words for me. So that is to say that I do think that taking part in constellations requires a lot of trust from everyone involved. But being part of a constellation with James has really been transformational in many ways in my life, and it made me really appreciate the vulnerability and the power of this work, and how important it is to do it with a trusted practitioner, with a practitioner like James, who has the reverence and the respect for the vulnerability that happens between people taking part in a constellation, and is able to hold it with that reverence. But what I really loved about the way James facilitated the space, that I felt completely safe, I felt completely held, I felt that James really understood the level of trust that I'm being asked to come with, to offer into the group in order for things to truly emerge. And he was able to offer that while also holding the space with a huge amount of like lightness and levity, and joy, even though it definitely wasn't always easy. That there was definitely things in the constellation that I found personally emotionally challenging, but he was able to really hold the space with that kind of lightness that I think is also so required for this work. But at every point I felt completely safe in knowing that he deeply understands the responsibility that is required in holding constellations. What I think is also really unique about James's style and flavor of facilitation and holding constellations is the fact that he really brings his own lineage, his unique cultural influences into the space, which I think A, is just really, really beautiful and beautiful to witness, and B, also it opened me up and gave me permission to bring myself more fully into the space. And I would say that if there is a part of you that is intrigued by constellations, by what this work offers, is to lean into it and go with a really open mind, and allow yourself to be really swept off your feet like I was, and surprised by what emerges. And in some ways, maybe that's a really good way to approach it, to allow yourself to be surprised. But yeah, it really was a transformational experience for me, deeply healing on an individual level, but also on a collective level. And I would love more people to experience constellations with James.